Pastor Saint Nalu. Fodi Bakuma Bawo. Alikali Fodi Suma. Samura Matiweti Kamara. Kale Fodi Basi Kamara. And Julie Sanade.
For the state city man. So I think they all come space. All there's a lot of them I know, but
Eventually, African Services, Rana Roma, Jane and Spain, and A. Tanzila.
just Jerry and Spain.
Yes, and AS Bar.
I'm very keen on the OP. Please don't forget the OP.
Yes, I will.
Alright. Second one. Just two issues. One is the compromise here, meaning that I cannot proceed to start off with. Secondly, Mr. Fufana, I got a message. Mr. Nalo, my sympathy on behalf of your loss. Again, another issue that we cannot proceed. And just so the defense is aware, well, to start off with, Mr. Marcelo, an application was moved yesterday in relation to a notice of motion. It was filed. I have the application and it was for you to respond. And so far as the defense is concerned, an affidavit in the position has been filed to your motion, which I now have. So, from the looks of things, it appears that I cannot make progress may well be issues concerning his presence here. Because if you recall the last orders that I gave just before the locals, I did give orders relating to the presence of the fifth accused. That's right. So those issues might come up in the course of these proceedings where we are. I mean, I understand how difficult it is, but it's best to err on the side of caution. Mr. Coman knows his own responsibility to be here, and I've got no communication from him. The court has received nothing from him as to why he's not here. I'm being informed by the registrar that he was called this morning, right up to this afternoon, and he's not picking his calls. So that's the position that you find ourselves. But in any event, right. Mr. Kumar, we've been in this situation, this is not the first time. You know, we've had discussions about this. You know. But you know how important your presence is here, right? And your presence cannot be dispensed with. You're aware of that? Okay. Mr. Mansibo, let's deal with the question of the motion. Mr. Fofana, in relation to your part, we'll deal with that on the next scheduled date. For all these reasons, yes, I don't think it's appropriate either way.
Yes, well, in fact, I was just going to get the indulgence of the issue to see if I can, because they are supposed to be 7 Friday. Okay. It was an indication that I definitely feel there on time, whether the indulgence of the prosecution can be excused for that, because I told him to come, even if that is the case, he has to come, because we have to respect the law.
Well, if that is the case, then, you know, out of. Well, he can't be excused because it's for him to testify. So I'll have to adjourn it to Tuesday. That's the best I can do. Mr. Mansibo, I don't think you have an issue with that. No. You know, it's a bereavement of something that, you know, one has to pay due deference to. So we can deal with that aspect on Tuesday. Right? But in the meantime, there's a motion for which you file an affidavit in the position. Indeed, madam. All right. So we'll do that.
As your lordship has noted, the state, as the respondent, has filed an affidavit in opposition, which is fairly remarkable. Findings also for its breadth.
Most of the facts that have been raised, my lord. Firstly, my lord, let me point out that the respondent adheres and abides by the contents of the affidavit that has been filed. Having said that, my lord, most of the issues or the facts are there. Certain processes and procedures before approaching this court for the order that is 6. Those processes we have captured in paragraph 7, my lord, of our affidavit, which, with your leave, I will read, and it states as follows.
No, well, you don't need to read them. I can
Yes,
see.
you did. Thank you, my lord. Thank you, my lord. That's the basic point that the respondent has taken to the application, that there are processes and protocols that ought to be undertaken by a person who finds himself in the position of the fourth accused and intends to travel outside of the jurisdiction for matters relating to what is contained in an exhibit BK1 of the applicant. My lord, the apprehension that the respondent has is that it is quite possible that your lordship might, in his discretion, be inclined to grant the prayer sought. However, should the fears expressed by the respondent regarding the necessary protocols that ought to be undertaken, this honorable court will be seized with an order that may not be capable of being carried out immediately or at all. That, of course, is an aspect that this honorable court guards jealously. The efficacy of its judgments should never be brought into question. And where an order is made which is susceptible to being either ignored or not followed, we respectfully submit, my lord, that it is wiser to err on the side of caution and have, as we submit, the fourth applicant adopt the appropriate process before approaching your lordship. My lord, as I had initially indicated, the affidavit in opposition is fairly brief, and unless your lordship wishes me to address any other specific area, I would submit that those are our submissions, and that is the position that the respondent has taken.
So your opposition to the application rests on the basis that there has not been recourse to applicable protocols.
Yes, my lord.
That is the only basis upon which you have an issue.
That is the only basis, my lord.
All right.
Yes.
But with respect to that, I mean, I get the point you make that in his position,
Yes.
such protocols need to be accorded to him.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes, my lord.
But then the question to ask is, if he chooses not to avail himself of those protocols, is that an issue that should worry the prosecution?
Well,
Because these protocols are what they are. They are not set in stone,
indeed,
so
my
to
lord.
speak.
Yes.
And of course, the point being made is that in his position is, if you like, entitled to those protocols.
Indeed.
Yes?
Yes, my lord.
And if he decides to disentitle himself, arguably, does that create a problem for the prosecution?
Well, not precisely for the prosecution itself. However, it may very well reside in a situation or a scenario where the fourth accused, having decided to not to take advantage of these protocols, and your lordship were to grant his prayer, there would still be that absence of adherence to protocol, which might prompt the appropriate authorities not agreeing to his travel outside. I know I am venturing outside really the ambit of what is factual, but quite clearly the fear is that the Minister of Foreign Affairs has got the potential, if for want of a better term, my lord, to insist that such protocols be undertaken.
All right. And if I say, okay, take a notional situation, it's something I'm entitled to, but I don't want it. Can the Ministry of Foreign Affairs insist that I should have it? Hey, gentlemen, come on. What's all this? Calm down. You know, I'm dealing with the issues fairly. Just calm yourselves down, please. Yes. In the event that he decides to say, well, yes, I'm entitled to it, but I don't want it, is there a problem?
Yeah.
I mean, as I am, I'm entitled to a driver,
Yes.
but I say I don't want a driver. Is that a problem?
No, my lord. But my understanding, and I fear there's an absence of sufficient information before your lordship as to whether it's what the ministry might insist upon is something that the fourth accused or anyone else for that matter in his particular position can simply avoid by declining to be part of. With the greatest of respect,
All right. Let me use another situation.
Yes.
Okay. Now, by law, I'm entitled to travel as a diplomat.
Yes.
I have a diplomatic passport.
Yes.
But if I choose not to use it, can I be forced to use it?
No. No.
So we go back to the situation where I am entitled, like the fourth accused is, to diplomatic protocols that are accorded to people in his position.
Yes.
And if he chooses to disentitle himself, can he be forced to entitle himself?
My lord, if I may just inquire whether your lordship is saying if he chooses
Yes.
to disentitle himself,
By
but
not,
nonetheless still attend to the invitation.
yeah, wish to travel as an ordinary citizen of a country. I don't want all these diplomatic protocols.
Yes.
I'm going on my own.
Yes.
Does that create a problem for the prosecution?
The problem is an apprehension really arises from the letter of invitation itself, which gives a clear background or atmosphere as to what is supposed to be the subject of discussions at that invitation. And a perusal of that letter, my lord, would clearly indicate that these are matters that are not necessarily confined to the accused person in his personal capacity, but they are much broader. And it is for that reason, without seeming to mention the actual matters, it is for that reason, my lord, that with respect, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs would have an interest in ascertaining whether this should be an appropriate trip for the accused. And your lordship has also made reference to one aspect which we had not directly addressed, the issue that he may choose not to use a diplomatic passport, and which seems to give the impression that the only reason why the Ministry of Foreign Affairs would be interested is because he carries a diplomatic passport. I would submit, my lord, that it's much wider than that. That is why I have made reference to Exhibit BK1. It's a matter of state, in a sense. It's a matter of governance. So all those are aspects, my lord, with the greatest of respect, that any Ministry of Foreign Affairs might need to look into, particularly where the current head of state is also to be in attendance. No one doubts, my lord, that there may well be, objectively speaking, need for this trip, but the absence of an adherence to non-existing practical protocols is all that we are raising, my lord.
So you would expect the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to arrange all activities around the trip. Is that what you're saying?
No, to give it a green light, so to speak.
All right. So to give the green light.
Yes.
Now, let's take for a minute, leave aside the exhibit BK1 which you've referred to.
Yes, madam.
If the fourth accused says, I want to do XYZ and I need permission to go, does it not vest within the court to determine whether he goes or not?
It's entirely within your purview, your province, my
So,
lord.
notwithstanding exhibit BK1,
Yes.
what he's asking for here, it's a matter that's directly within the purview of the court.
Yes.
And even the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has no, so to speak, power to say, yes, you go or you don't go. They don't. It's entirely a matter for the court to determine it. But that said, on the question that you raised about protocols not being adhered to, which is why I took you back to the position that what if I choose not to use the protocols? I mean, I've traveled many times when I've not used the protocols.
On a diplomatic passport, my lord?
No, I don't use a diplomatic
You don't,
passport.
okay.
I only use it when I feel like. So does that disentitle me to it because I've not used it? It doesn't.
No, my lord, if the issue were simply one that relates to the use of the diplomatic passport.
Well, this again is about the protocols.
Yes.
Because essentially what you're saying is that every time I want to travel,
Yes.
the protocols, I must apply those protocols to myself, which incidentally are entitlements, not restrictions on my movement. Now, the suggestion that you're bringing up right now appears to be a restriction on the movement of the fourth accused, which can only be dealt with or be imposed by this court, and not the existing protocols. So this is why I want to be clear where you're going on this.
Yes.
Because you said there's not been protocol. So the issue that I sense can be argued is, I believe you're not querying the authenticity of the document.
No. No,
All right.
no, not at all.
You're not suggesting that for some reason he might be a flight risk.
No.
No. All right. I see. Okay.
All we are saying, my lord,
The protocols have not been applied.
not only that, this apprehension that there is that possibility that
He might not comply. Well, Well, say it, that it might
Yes.
not comply. That's
Yes.
your concern.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
It's about green light, red light, green and red.
Right, exactly. Let me.
Raising the red
You
light.
might want to wait a little.
Groups, you responding with the red light.
Let me see. You might want me to address certain areas. Sorry, my lord. Essentially, my lord, as I had indicated, those were my submissions, but I was alive to the fact that your lordship was still in the process of interrogating certain areas. That's
Yes,
why,
I just
yeah,
wanted to make
yeah.
sure I get the parameters clearly.
Yes.
So I know the basis upon which, you put the objection in the affidavit in opposition.
Yes, yes.
That's what I wanted to just clarify.
Yes, yes. For the avoidance of doubt, my lord, at the risk of repeating myself again, which I am actually, what basically we are saying is, yes, indeed, this is within the purview of your lordship, i.e., the request for absenting himself from the proceedings. That clearly, there's absolutely no doubt, is within your lordship's purview. Now, these protocols, the effect of non-compliance with them is what had been making us apprehensive, that we could have an order properly given by your lordship, which might not be carried out as a result of the absence of certain protocols that fall outside the purview of this court. Yes. My lord, those would be my submissions. I don't have any further.
All right. Mr. Koma, I think the issue, as I see it,
Yes, my lord.
although Mr. Mansibo has not put it in exactly those terms, but what he appears to be alluding to
Yes, my lord.
is that in the absence of the protocols, there is a risk that there might be non-compliance with the orders given by this court in respect of the application until such time. I mean, essentially what he's saying is that it's not within a cocooned environment, if you like, where the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is involved. But in the absence of that, then it becomes a free-for-all. I think that's what he's aiming at.
My lord, respectfully, as I listen to my learned friend, I'm trying to summon the deepest aspect of the calmness in me to remain calm, my lord. Honestly, my lord.
Well, you are known to remain calm, but boiling under the surface.
As my lord pleases. My lord, you see, in this arena, I'm really taken aback because my learned friend and I have been sparring for years, and he knows that in one of the matters that we concluded, that we didn't even have to be filing papers to obtain permission from the court for an accused person to travel out of jurisdiction. My lord, with greatest respect to my learned friend, he's mentioning protocols. Unfortunately, he has not mentioned any law. However high a protocol might be, it falls short of the effect of the law. And my lord, we have to be doggedly following the law.
Yes, sorry.
My lord, section 120, subsection 3 of the Constitution of Sierra Leone 1991, Act number 6 of 1991, is very clear about the independence of the judiciary, my lord. My lord, with your kind leave, it says, in the exercise of its judicial functions, the judiciary shall be subject to only this Constitution or any other law, and shall not be subject to the control or direction of any other person or authority. My lord. only this court can determine the matters contained within the four corners of our application, my lord. Any attempt to bring in any other authority would be against the Constitution, my lord. Even if it was legislated last night by Parliament, my lord, it will not apply.
Even if it was done at midnight?
Yes, my lord. My lord, we are not seeking for a private jet. My lord, we don't want diplomatic coverage. Our client is an accused person. He has decided to avail himself with an ordinary citizen's passport, my lord. That is a law-abiding citizen, my lord. My lord, when this honorable court, in its wisdom, decided to permit the fourth accused and other accused persons, accompanied by lawyers, to fly to New York, he complied. And my lord, even when...
You complied?
My lord, even when...
You complied?
Yes, my lord. My lord.
You complied with the traveling to New York?
Yes, my lord.
That
lord,
part of it?
Yes, my lord.
All right.
My lord, even when the import of my statement is this, my lord. Even when the state offered to pay for accused persons and solicitors to travel, the fourth accused did not avail himself of that privilege, my lord. Paid his way, together with his lawyers, my lord. And my lord, he came back and surrendered his passport, my lord. My lord, he is not seeking to have the state pay for him in this instance either, my lord. And my lord, in our humble estimation, if the prosecution is taking umbrage to Exhibit BK1, let them and their now, acclaimed client, Minister of Foreign Affairs, contact the Commonwealth Secretariat, my lord. We cannot determine how they couch their invitation to our clients, my lord. All we are asking for, my lord, is for this honorable court to do what only this court can do, to the exclusion of all others as far as this matter is concerned, to grant leave to the fourth accused applicant to attend. My lord, even as counsel was addressing you, looking at the four corners of Exhibit BK1, there is no reference to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And interestingly, even in their affidavits, the protocols themselves that my learned friend is talking about, he has not exhibited. So those protocols, with the greatest respect, will not form part of the evidence in this application, my lord.
Yeah, as I said, the protocols are entitlements.
I'm most grateful, my lord.
Which one can disentitle himself to?
Grateful, my lord.
Wow.
And my lord, the kicker here is this. The question is, how does this application prejudice the justice of their matter? That is the key. In my humble submission, it doesn't. And thankfully, they have not said so in their affidavit.
Well, but Mr. Mancibo just said that he doesn't believe the fourth accused is a flight risk.
That should not even see daylight here, my lord, because he has to contain himself within the ambits of this affidavit, my lord. My lord, the only reason why we are here is to seek justice. Failure to avail one of privileges contained in protocols would not affect the justice of this matter. At all. And my lord, in our affidavit supporting the application, we have stated that the raison d'etre for the said invitation, that is Exhibit BK1, is to discuss matters that hinge on the national interest of Sierra Leone. I understand where Mr. Mancibo is coming from. I do understand. But there's an overriding objective for us on this side, to put Sierra Leone first, my lord. And my lord, all our individual cum collective efforts must be to further that interest, my lord. I rest my case.
All right, tomorrow not being a day for national interest, come back tomorrow. But all right, notwithstanding, you'll hear from me Friday morning.
Most grateful, my lord.
All right, Mr. Fofana, your client is given dispensation not to be here on Friday. And if you yourself are not going to be here, please make sure you have counsel deputizing you. And I think the Honorable Givao should be here. No longer has, yes, he no longer has any business up in that place, so he should be here. Well, the package will come subsequently. All right, I'll put this to the 20th of April, and I will, as always, have a full written ruling on this, so we are clear on where we are. All right. All right. Matter is adjourned. Bill continues. 20th of April. All right.
Please, we still have other matters. Make sure you go out quietly, please. Thank you. Please, the court is still on session, please. Make sure you move out quietly, please. Make sure you move out quietly.